Click, clack, moo. Cows that type. Farmer Brown has a problem. His cows like to type. All day long he hears click, clack, moo. Click, clack, moo. Clickety, clack, moo. At first he couldn't believe his ears. Cows that type? Impossible. Click, clack, moo. Click, clack, moo. Clickety, clack, moo. Then he couldn't believe his eyes. Dear Farmer Brown, the barn is very cold at night. We'd like some electric blankets. Sincerely, the cows. It was bad enough the cows had found the old typewriter in the barn. Now they wanted electric blankets. No way, said Farmer Brown. No electric blankets. So the cows went on strike. They left a note on the barn door. Sorry, we're closed. No milk today. No milk today, cried Farmer Brown. In the background he heard the cows busy at work. Click, clack, moo! Click, clack, moo! Clickety, clack, moo! The next day he got another note. Dear Farmer Brown, the hens are cold too. They'd like electric blankets. Sincerely, the cows. The cows were growing impatient with the farmer. They left a new note on the barn door. Closed. No milk, no eggs. No eggs! cried Farmer Brown. In the background he heard them. Click, clack, moo! Click, clack, moo! Clickety, clack, moo! Cows that type! Hens on strike! Who ever heard of such a thing? How can I run a farm with no milk and no eggs? Farmer Brown was furious. Farmer Brown got out his typewriter. Dear cows and hens, there will be no electric blankets. You are cows and hens. I demand milk and eggs. Sincerely, Farmer Brown. Duck was a neutral party, so he brought the ultimatum to the cows. The cows held an emergency meeting. All the animals gathered around the barn to snoop, but none of them could understand moo. All night long, Farmer Brown waited for an answer. Duck knocked on the door early the next morning. He handed Farmer Brown a note. Dear Farmer Brown, we will exchange our typewriter for electric blankets. Leave them outside the barn door and we will send Duck over with the typewriter. Sincerely, the cows. Farmer Brown decided this was a good deal. He left the blankets next to the barn door and waited for Duck to come with the typewriter. The next morning he got a note. Dear Farmer Brown, the pond is quite boring. We'd like a diving board. Sincerely, the ducks. Click, clack, quack. Click, clack, quack. Clickety, clack, quack. The end. Owl Babies. Once there were 3 baby owls, Sarah and Percy and Bill. They lived in a hole in the trunk of a tree with their owl mother. The hole had twigs and leaves and owl feathers in it. It was their house. One night they woke up and their owl mother was gone. "Where's Mommy?" asked Sarah. "Oh my goodness," said Percy. "I want my Mommy," said Bill. The baby owls thought. All owls think a lot. "I think she's gone hunting," said Sarah. "To get us our food," said Percy. "I want my Mommy," said Bill. But their owl mother didn't come home. The baby owls came out of their house, and they sat on the tree and waited. A big branch for Sarah, a small branch for Percy, and an old piece of ivy for Bill. "She'll be back soon." "Back soon," said Percy. "I want my Mommy," said Bill. It was dark in the woods, and they had to be brave, for things moved all around them. "She'll bring us mice and things that are nice," said Sarah. "I suppose so," said Percy. "I want my Mommy," said Bill. They sat and they thought. All owls think a lot. "I think we should all sit on my branch," said Sarah, and they did, all 3 together. "Suppose she got lost," said Sarah. "Or a fox got her," said Percy. "I want my mommy," said Bill. And the baby owls closed their owl eyes and wished their owl mother would come home. And she came. Soft and silent she swooped through the trees to Sarah and Percy and Bill. "Mommy!" they cried, and they flapped and they danced, and they bounced up and down on their branch. "What's all the fuss?" their owl mother asked. "You knew I'd come back," the baby owls thought. All owls think a lot. "I knew it," said Sarah. "And I knew it," said Percy. "I love my mommy," said Bill. The end. Little Bear. What will Little Bear wear? It is cold. See the snow. See the snow come down. Little Bear said, "Mother Bear, I am cold. See the snow. I want something to put on." So Mother Bear made something for Little Bear. "See, Little Bear," she said, "I have something for my little bear. Here it is. Put it on your head." "Oh," said Little Bear, "it is a hat. Hooray! Now I will not be cold." Little Bear went out to play. Here is Little Bear. "Oh," said Mother Bear, "do you want something?" "I am cold," said Little Bear. "I want something to put on." So Mother Bear made something for Little Bear. "See, Little Bear," she said, "I have something for my little bear. Put it on." "Oh," said Little Bear, "it is a coat. Hooray! Now I will not be cold." Little Bear went out to play. Here is Little Bear again. "Oh," said Mother Bear, "do you want something?" "I am cold," said Little Bear. "I want something to put on." So Mother Bear made something again for Little Bear. "See, Little Bear," she said, "here is something for my little bear. Now you cannot be cold. Put it on." "Oh," said Little Bear, "snow pants. Hooray! Now I will not be cold." Little Bear went out to play. Here is Little Bear again. "Oh," said Mother Bear, "what can you want now?" "I am cold," said Little Bear. "I want something to put on." "My little bear," said Mother Bear, "you have a hat, you have a coat, you have snow pants. Do you want a fur coat too?" "Yes," said Little Bear, "I want a fur coat too." Mother Bear took the hat, the coat, and the snow pants. "See," said Mother Bear, "there is the fur coat." "Hooray!" said Little Bear. "Here is my fur coat. Now I will not be cold." And he was not cold. What do you think of that? Birthday Soup. Mother Bear, where are you?" calls Little Bear. "Oh dear, Mother Bear is not here, and today is my birthday. I think my friends will come, but I do not see a birthday cake. My goodness, no birthday cake. What can I do?" The pot is by the fire. The water in the pot is hot. If I put something in the water, I can make birthday soup. All my friends like soup. Let me see what we have. We have carrots and potatoes, peas and tomatoes. I can make soup with carrots, potatoes, peas, and tomatoes. So Little Bear begins to make soup in the big black pot. First, Hen comes in. "Happy birthday, Little Bear," she says. "Thank you, Hen," says Little Bear. Hen screams, "My, something smells good here. Is it in the big black pot?" "Yes," says Little Bear. "I am making birthday soup. Will you stay and have some?" "Oh, yes, thank you," says Hen, and she sits down to wait. Next, Duck comes in. "Happy birthday, Little Bear," says Duck. "My, something smells good. Is it in the big black pot?" "Thank you, Duck," says Little Bear. "Yes, I am making birthday soup. Will you stay and have some with us?" "Yes, thank you," says Duck, and she sits down to wait. Next, Cat comes in. "Happy birthday, Little Bear," he says. "Thank you, Cat," says Little Bear. "I hope you like birthday soup. I am making birthday soup." Cat says, "Can you really cook? If you can really make it, I will eat it." "Good," says Little Bear. "The birthday soup is hot, so we must eat it now. We cannot wait for Mother Bear. I do not know where she is." "Now here is some soup for you, Hen," says Little Bear. "And here is some soup for you, Duck. And here is some soup for you, Cat. And here is some soup for me. Now we can all have some birthday soup." Cat sees Mother Bear at the door, and says, "Wait, Little Bear, do not eat yet. Shut your eyes and say 1, 2, 3." Little Bear shuts his eyes and says 1, 2, 3. Mother Bear comes in with a big cake. "Now look," says Cat. "Oh, Mother Bear," says Little Bear, "what a big beautiful birthday cake." Birthday soup is good to eat, but not as good as birthday cake. I am so happy you did not forget. "Yes, happy birthday, Little Bear," says Mother Bear. "This birthday cake is a surprise for you. I never did forget your birthday, and I never will." Little Bear goes to the moon. "I have a new space helmet. I am going to the moon," said Little Bear to Mother Bear. "How?" asked Mother Bear. "I'm going to fly to the moon," said Little Bear. "Fly?" said Mother Bear. "You can't fly." "Birds fly," said Little Bear. "Oh, yes," said Mother Bear. "Birds fly, but they don't fly to the moon, and you are not a bird." "Maybe some birds fly to the moon. I don't know, and maybe I can fly like a bird," said Little Bear. "And maybe," said Mother Bear, "you are a fat little bear cub with no wings and no feathers. Maybe if you jump up you will come down very fast with a big plop." "Maybe," said Little Bear, "but I'm going now. Just look for me up in the sky." "Be back for lunch," said Mother. Little Bear thought, "I will jump from a good high spot, far up into the sky, and fly up, up, up. I will be going too fast to look at things, so I will shut my eyes." Little Bear climbed to the top of a little hill, and climbed to the top of a little tree, a very little tree on the little hill, and shut his eyes and jumped. Down, down he came with a big plop, and down the hill he tumbled. Then he sat up and looked around. My," he said, "here I am on the moon. The moon looks just like the earth." "Well, well," said Little Bear, "the trees here look just like our trees. The birds look just like our birds. And look at this," he said. "Here is a house that looks just like my house. I'll go in and see what kind of bears live here." "Look at that," said Little Bear. "Something to eat is on the table. It looks like a good lunch for a little bear." Mother Bear came in and said, "But who is this? Are you a bear from Earth?" "Oh, yes, I am," said Little Bear. "I climbed a little hill, and jumped from a little tree, and flew here, just like the birds." "Well," said Mother Bear, "my little bear did the same thing. He put on his space helmet and flew to Earth. So I guess you can have his lunch." Little Bear put his arms around Mother Bear. He said, "Mother Bear, stop fooling. You are my Mother Bear, and I am your little bear, and we are on Earth, and you know it. Now may I eat my lunch?" "Yes," said Mother Bear, "and then you will have your nap, for you are my little bear, and I know it." Little Bear's Wish. "Little Bear," said Mother Bear. "Yes, Mother," said Little Bear. "You are not to sleep," said Mother Bear. "No, Mother," said Little Bear, "I can't sleep." "Why not?" said Mother Bear. "I'm wishing," said Little Bear. "What are you wishing for?" said Mother Bear. "I wish that I could sit on a cloud and fly all around," said Little Bear. "You can't have that wish, my little bear," said Mother Bear. Then I wish that I could find a Viking boat, said Little Bear, and the Vikings would say, come along, here we go, away, away." "You can't have that wish, my little bear," said Mother Bear. "Then I wish I could find a tunnel," said Little Bear, "going all the way to China. I would go to China and come back with chopsticks for you." "You can't have that wish, my little bear," said Mother Bear. "Then I wish I had a big red car," said Little Bear. "I would go fast, fast. I would come to a big castle. A princess would come out and say, 'Have some cake, Little Bear,' and I would have some." "You can't have that wish, my little bear," said Mother Bear. "Then I wish," said Little Bear, "a Mother Bear would come to me and say, 'Would you like to hear a story?'" "Well," said Mother Bear, "maybe you can have that wish. That is just a little wish." "Thank you, Mother," said Little Bear. "That was what I really wanted all the time." "What kind of story would you like to hear?" said Mother Bear. "Tell me about me," said Little Bear. "Tell me about things I once did." "Well," said Mother Bear, "once you played in the snow, and you wanted to put something on." "Oh, yes, that was fun," said Little Bear. "Tell me something more about me." "Well," said Mother Bear, "once you put on your space helmet, and you played going to the moon." "That was fun, too," said Little Bear. "Tell me more about me." "Well," said Mother Bear, "once you thought you had no birthday cake, so you made birthday soup." "Oh, that was fun," said Little Bear. "And then you came with the cake, and you always make me happy." "And now," said Mother Bear, "you can make me happy too." "How?" said Little Bear. "You can go to sleep," said Mother Bear. "Well, then, I will," said Little Bear. "Good night, Mother dear." "Good night, Little Bear. Sleep well." The End. The Rainbow Fish. A long way out in the deep blue sea there lived a fish. Not just an ordinary fish, but the most beautiful fish in the entire ocean. His scales were every shade of blue and green and purple, with sparkling silver scales among them. The other fish were amazed at his beauty. They called him Rainbow Fish. "Come on, Rainbow Fish," they would call. "Come and play with us." But the Rainbow Fish would just glide past, proud and silent, letting his scales shimmer. One day a little blue fish followed after him. "Rainbow Fish," he called, "wait for me. Please give me one of your shiny scales. They are so wonderful, and you have so many." "You want me to give you one of my special scales? Who do you think you are?" cried the Rainbow Fish. "Get away from me!" Shocked, the little blue fish swam away. He was so upset he told all his friends what had happened. From then on no one would have anything to do with the Rainbow Fish. They turned away when he swam by. What good were the dazzling, shimmering scales with no one to admire them? Now he was the loneliest fish in the entire ocean. One day he poured out his troubles to the starfish. "I really am beautiful. Why doesn't anyone like me?" "I can't answer that for you," said the starfish, "but if you go beyond the coral reef to a deep cave you will find the wise octopus. Maybe she can help you." The Rainbow Fish found the cave. It was very dark inside, and he couldn't see anything. Then suddenly two eyes caught him in their glare, and the octopus emerged from the darkness. "I have been waiting for you," said the octopus with a deep voice. "The waves have told me your story. This is my advice. Give a glittering scale to each of the other fish. You will no longer be the most beautiful fish in the sea, but you will discover how to be happy." "I can't," the Rainbow Fish started to say, but the octopus had already disappeared into a dark cloud of ink. "Give away my scales? My beautiful shining scales? Never! How could I ever be happy without them? Suddenly he felt the light touch of a fin. The little blue fish was back. Rainbow Fish, please don't be angry. I just want one little scale. The Rainbow Fish wavered. Only one very, very small shimmery scale, he thought. Well, maybe I wouldn't miss just one. Carefully, the Rainbow Fish pulled out the smallest scale and gave it to the little fish. Thank you very much. The little blue fish bubbled playfully as he tucked the shiny scale in among his blue ones. A rather peculiar feeling came over the Rainbow Fish. For a long time he watched the little blue fish swim back and forth with his new scale glittering in the water. The little blue fish whizzed through the ocean with his scale flashing, so it didn't take long before the Rainbow Fish was surrounded by the other fish. Everyone wanted a glittering scale. The Rainbow Fish shared his scales left and right, and the more he gave away, the more delighted he became. When the water around him filled with glimmering scales, he at last felt at home among the other fish. Finally, the Rainbow Fish had only one shining scale left. His most prized possessions had been given away, yet he was very happy. "Come on, Rainbow Fish," they called. "Come and play with us." "Here I come," said the Rainbow Fish, and, happy as a splash, he swam off to join his friends. The end. Sylvester and the Magic Pebble. Sylvester Duncan lived with his mother and father at Acorn Road in Oatsdale. One of his hobbies was collecting pebbles of unusual shape and color. On a rainy Saturday during vacation, he found quite an extraordinary one. It was flaming red, shiny, and perfectly round, like a marble. As he was studying this remarkable pebble, he began to shiver, probably from excitement, and the rain felt cold on his back. "I wish it would stop raining," he said. To his great surprise, the rain stopped. It didn't gradually as rains usually do. It ceased. The drops vanished on the way down, the clouds disappeared, everything was dry, and the sun was shining as if rain had never existed. In all his young life Sylvester had never had a wish gratified so quickly. It struck him that magic must be at work, and he guessed that the magic must be in the remarkable-looking red pebble, where indeed it was. To make a test, he put the pebble on the ground and said, "I wish it would rain again." Nothing happened, but when he said the same thing holding the pebble in his hoof, the sky turned black, there was lightning and a clap of thunder, and the rain came shooting down. "What a lucky day this is," thought Sylvester. "From now on I can have anything I want. My father and mother can have everything they want. My relatives, my friends, and anybody at all can have everything anybody wants." He wished the sunshine back in the sky, and he wished a wart on his left hind fetlock would disappear. And it did, and he started home, eager to amaze his father and mother with his magic pebble. He could hardly wait to see their faces. Maybe they wouldn't even believe him at first. As he was crossing Strawberry Hill, thinking of some of the many, many things he could wish for, he was startled to see a mean, hungry lion looking right at him from behind some tall grass. He was frightened. If he hadn't been so frightened, he could have made the lion disappear, or he could have wished himself safe at home with his father and mother. He could have wished the lion would turn into a butterfly or a daisy or a gnat. He could have wished many things, but he panicked and couldn't think carefully. "I wish I was a rock," he said, and he became a rock. The lion came bounding over, sniffed the rock 100 times, walked around and around it, and went away confused, perplexed, puzzled, and bewildered. "I saw that little donkey as clear as day. Maybe I'm going crazy," he muttered. And there was Sylvester, a rock on Strawberry Hill, and the magic pebble was lying right beside him on the ground, and he was unable to pick it up, "Oh, how I wish I were myself again," he thought, but nothing happened. He had to be touching the pebble to make the magic work, but there was nothing he could do about it. His thoughts began to race like mad. He was scared and worried. Being helpless, he felt helpless. He felt hopeless. He imagined all the possibilities, and eventually he realized that his only chance of becoming himself was for someone to find the red pebble and to wish the rock next to it would be a donkey. Someone would surely find the red pebble. It was so bright and shiny. But what on earth would make them wish that a rock were a donkey? The chance was 1 in a billion at best. Sylvester fell asleep. What else could he do? Night came with many stars. Meanwhile, back at home, Mr. and Mrs. Duncan paced the floor, frantic with worry. Sylvester had never come home later than dinner time. Where could he be? They stayed up all night wondering what had happened, expecting that Sylvester would surely turn up by morning, but he didn't, of course. Mrs. Duncan cried a lot, and Mr. Duncan did his best to soothe her. Both longed to have their dear son with them. "I will never scold Sylvester again as long as I live," said Mrs. Duncan, "no matter what he does." At dawn they went about inquiring of all the neighbors. They talked to all the children, the puppies, the kittens, the colts, the piglets. No one had seen Sylvester since the day before yesterday. They went to the police. The police could not find their child. All the dogs in Oatsdale went searching for him. They sniffed behind every rock and tree and blade of grass, into every nook and gully of the neighborhood and beyond, but found not a scent of him. They sniffed the rock on Strawberry Hill, but it smelled like a rock. It didn't smell like Sylvester. After a month of searching the same places over and over again, and inquiring of the same animals over and over again, Mr. and Mrs. Duncan no longer knew what to do. They concluded that something dreadful must have happened, and that they would probably never see their son again, though all the time he was less than a mile away. They tried their best to be happy, to go about their usual ways. But their usual ways included Sylvester, and they were always reminded of him. They were miserable. Life had no meaning for them any more. Night followed day, and day followed night, over and over again. Sylvester on the hill woke up less and less often. When he was awake, he was only hopeless and unhappy. He felt he would be a rock forever, and he tried to get used to it. He went into an endless sleep. The days grew colder. Fall came with the leaves changing color. Then the leaves fell, and the grass bent to the ground. Then it was winter. The winds blew this way and that. It snowed. Mostly the animals stayed indoors, living on the food they had stored up. One day a wolf sat on the rock that was Sylvester and howled because he was hungry. Then the snows melted. The earth warmed up in the spring sun, and things budded. Leaves were on the trees again. Flowers showed their young faces. One day in May, Mr. Duncan insisted that his wife go with him on a picnic. "Let's cheer up," he said. "Let us try to live again and be happy even though Sylvester, our angel, is no longer with us." They went to Strawberry Hill. Mrs. Duncan sat on the rock. The warmth of his own mother sitting on him woke Sylvester up from his deep winter sleep. How he wanted to shout, "Mother, Father, it's me, Sylvester. I'm right here." But he couldn't talk. He had no voice. He was stone dumb. Mr. Duncan walked aimlessly about while Mrs. Duncan set out the picnic food on the rock. Alfalfa sandwiches, pickled oats, sassafras salad, timothy compote. Suddenly Mr. Duncan saw the red pebble. "What a fantastic pebble!" he exclaimed. "Sylvester would have loved it for his collection." He put the pebble on the rock. They sat down to eat. Sylvester was now as wide awake as a donkey that was a rock could possibly be. Mrs. Duncan felt some mysterious excitement. "You know, Father," she said suddenly, "I have the strangest feeling that our dear Sylvester is still alive and not far away." I am! Sylvester wanted to shout, but he couldn't. If only he had realized that the pebble resting on his back was the magic pebble! "Oh, how I wish you were home with us on this lovely May day!"